Hello everybody, today we're talking about Banshee at Kings Island. Banshee is Bolliger and Maviard's probably a monster inverted roller coaster, that's for sure by them. It is absolutely humongous and it sits in the front of Kings Island. So I'm going to be reviewing Banshee at Kings Island into 4 different categories. Those categories are appearance, ride forces, fun factor, and originality. So as we start, we'll get right into appearance. Banshee has a really nice setting, especially that plaza area. Cedar Fair has been adding huge signs in front of their newer attractions, and it looks really nice. Banshee's has the Banshee logo and a bunch of mist around it, which I think is very cool. And that first dive loop really looks amazing in front of that little plaza area, and especially that loop that wraps around the lift hill. The rest of the ride is kind of tucked away on Son of Beast's old plot of land, so you can't really see it unless you go back to around the back. But even there's still a bunch of trees covering the way and you can't really see anything. So I think Banshee has a really nice color scheme with that dark pink and blue supports. It makes a really nice look for this monster B&M. And that's why I think Banshee is going to get a 9 out of 10 in the appearance category. So the next category is ride forces. Banshee pulls a lot of ride forces, especially positive G-forces on the ride. Not as much negative, because it'd be weird to have a lot of negative G-forces or airtime on an inverted roller coaster. But anyway, I was getting pushed down into my seat so much during that ride that the vest restraint was not as secure, and by the time I hit that final brakes, that vest restraint was literally like killing me. It was like pushed down so hard on the ride. But anyway, that just shows how much ride forces there is on Banshee. That first drop, there's no pre-drop. You just rip into that first drop and it just pushes you down into your seat so much. That first dive loop also really pushes you into your seat at the bottom of there going. The inversions are just so massive. It allows some weightlessness to be felt on a lot of the inversions. I only think there's one inversion that really you don't feel a lot of weightlessness on, and that could be that second loop. I didn't feel a lot of weightlessness on it, but I just felt like I was getting pushed into the seat the entire time. So Banshee really is about the positive G-forces, and that's why, since it's lacking a lot of the negative G-forces because it's an inverted roller coaster, I feel that Banshee should get a 9 in the ride forces category. The next category is probably one of the most important categories, and that is fun factor. Banshee, I feel like, since it has vest restraints, it allows you to feel the bumps in the track more, and that's why I feel it takes away from the experience. So I was really able to feel some patches that are a little rough on Banshee, and it's a fairly new roller coaster. So I was really able to feel some of those patches. The inversions were butter smooth. They were amazing. That first drop was amazing. But then again, at the bottom of the drops, you could really feel some rough patches. And this ride also suffers from the B&M rattle. I didn't even ride it in the back, and I was in row 2, and I could still feel the B&M rattle on it. There's some other rides that have it, like Rougarou at Cedar Point, but we'll talk about that in another review. Banshee, I feel, was really fun, especially in the inversions. So the dive loop was probably one of my least favorite inversions. The vertical loops were probably my least favorite inversion. But that inline twist provided great hang time. That was an amazing element to add on it, and especially the pretzel knot. Another inversion that I don't hear as many people talk about is the what do you call it? The 0G roll. Sorry. The 0G roll, I felt was just like a normal B&M 0G roll. You got whipped through it pretty hard, and then you go out of it and into another like rough little patch at the bottom. But anyway, because of these rattles, I'm giving Banshee an 8 in the fun factor category. The final category that Banshee includes is originality. So, Banshee, I would say, is probably one of the most original B&M inverts. I know it's weird to say since it's so new, but like, this is such a custom layout from the no pre-drop to the huge inversions to an inversion that's never been seen on a roller coaster except one, aka the pretzel knot. I just feel that Banshee is like very original. That inline twist is so rare on any roller coaster, really. I've only ridden one other roller coaster with an inline twist, and that is, I forget the name of it. Well, we'll come back to that. But anyway, Banshee starts off with an incredible first drop that just rips you to the right, and then you just go down that drop really fast into the first inversion, which is a dive loop. You kind of go a little slow at the top of the dive loop, but that's normal with all dive loops, and I found this one to be very enjoyable. Then you go into a vertical loop that wraps around the lift hill, which is very cool to have a vertical loop wrap around the lift hill of any roller coaster. And the next inversion, I would say right out of the vertical loop comes the 0G roll, and that really takes you away into Banshee's main plot of land. You dive down after the 0G roll into another element. They're just hitting you non-stop with elements, and that is the pretzel knot, only seen on one other roller coaster in the world. And this pretzel knot was very fun, I would say. Just an amazing element, especially by B&M to put on one of their roller coasters. After the pretzel knot, you swing over into another vertical loop. After that vertical loop, it was just a normal vertical loop, so not much to say. You go into a helix, into the inline twist, then down another helix, and turn into the brakes. So Banshee gets a score in originality of 9.5. So that brings Banshee's total to an 8.8 out of 10. I felt like this was a good score for Banshee, and especially for one of my first reviews. So if you enjoyed this review, please consider subscribing or liking. And I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.